Good evening, welcome to the stream. It has been months since I've been online, and I'm finally getting back into it. Finally, there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes, which I don't really want to go into at the moment, but it's some pretty good stuff, and all will be revealed in time. I haven't been online streaming because there was just too much on my plate. I didn't want to rush everything or make it all too busy with stuff going on in my life, and so I decided to take streaming down a notch to get everything in order. But we're back, committed to continue work on Doom 2 Annie and a bunch of other projects. And the goal is kind of to maintain a steady streaming schedule. I'm gonna try once a week to start. I do have a project going on which is actually mostly behind the scenes at the moment, so that means I won't be able to showcase it just yet, because the project kind of has to evolve a little more before I actually actively working on it during the streams. But we have plenty of work with Doom 2 Annie and the Heretic project and my modeling project as well. So plenty of stuff to do. I still need to finish a huge backlog of games on Steam as well, which I kind of decided to mostly do on stream. I'm aware that my general viewers, mostly enjoy level design videos, but I kind of want to be a little more online, so that's why I decided to kind of include a little bit of gaming in the stream as well. Not just mods, but actual games which I still need to finish, and there's a huge list. But it's not gonna be probably not gonna be full streams, or a little bit of R&R at the end of a level design or modeling session. But let's just jump in. I'm not gonna be online too long today because I still got a bunch of stuff to do, and I do want to get some sleep as well. So we're gonna jump in, continuing work on Doom 2 Annie. I have been working on it off stream as well, kind of prepping the map I was working on to make it gameplay ready, and I was just basically down to a couple of mechanics, but mostly it's just time for adding detail and actually placing all the entities. A little bit of playtesting. I still have to add the sector portals for all the skies, but all in due time. Let's just work on finishing up the mechanics like doors, elevators, stuff like that, so we can walk around the level complete basically from start to finish. Alright, let's jump in. There you go. The OBS setup, which you have the camera stuff, it's all temporarily because I also have been working on developing a brand new streaming UI, so to speak. It's all gonna be custom made for my new goals concerning the stream and game development in general. So this is all temporarily, just had to whip something together because the old stuff I used didn't really fit anymore, and it was easier to just use a template, to be honest. A little bit customized, but it's easier, so I can focus on slowly working towards a complete set of scenes. But that's for the streaming side. There's plenty of stuff to do on the development side as well. But let's just try to make progress wherever we can. So today I'll be focusing on this area right here. And actually this door, the angle doesn't really work for sliding doors. So I'm gonna just make sure it's aligned so the door actually works, because there is something strange going on with the angle. I'm not really sure if there's a fix for it, or I can fix it. But it's easier and, well, it's not a huge amount of difference here, if this is straight or not. So let's just... This is gonna mess up my entire... Yeah. Awesome. That will all be fixed in time. I'm probably gonna... like this. Maybe keep it like this. There we go. Not really sure if this is actually correct. There's something weird going on, actually, I noticed. I think that is not really weird. Alright. Yeah, it's gonna need some adjustments. I thought it would be easier, to be honest. Okay, I see. Man, I can't believe this is such a mess. Hold on. There we go. I think that's it. This makes the doors function way better. You don't have to worry about strange angles. If you have some basic knowledge about poly objects, you probably see the difficulty here with these angled doors. And what the hell is that? Okay. That should be it. What I don't understand is why this is all messed up. It should normally fix itself, but let's reset it. There we go. Now I gotta remember how I did it. Ceilings. Yeah. Really sure. This probably needs fixing. Yeah. Let's just reset it. There we go. I'll do that manually later. One thing do I need to select it like this? I can't remember like the shortcuts to make this slope. Controls. There we go, Shift X. So we need to select them all, is that? And then Shift X. Yeah, that was it. I think I'll go with this. No? There we go. There we go. Right. Let's see. Oh wait, this has to be straightened as well. centered. Gotta make sure these are centered as well. There we go. Hey Merlamp, what is up, buddy? The streams are back indeed. How have you been? It's been a while, I know. I had some trouble with my desk, as you probably will remember. Just lots of stuff going on, lots of stuff. And to be completely honest, I kind of felt exhausted. It didn't feel like, you know, I had the energy to stream. Because there was just a lot of stuff happening. And I kind of want to focus on, you know, getting things done. But you know, everything is kind of falling into place now, and well, it's all game development related. And I get like everything is set out, so I get a clear vision of what I want to do, where I want to go. And I'm actually kind of have been talking about, you know, that I was developing my own Game Boy game. So we do have some plans, everything's laid out, and now it's just the road to actually, you know, working towards actually releasing it, which is still a long way off. But I felt like there was just too much stuff I had to do, like working on this project, the Heretic project, the modeling project, then the Game Boy project, then setting everything up, like to kind of get consistent with the logos, you know, the stream, everything, that it all connects very well together. But it's a lot of work, right? Yeah, that's a lot of projects, absolutely. And you know, so you probably understand that I got way over my head, and I kind of need to take a step back because I do want to complete them all, you know. But I felt like I kind of need to address like one issue at a time, and like the first thing is I kind of want everything up and running again so I can stream. Like for me, it helps to stream game development, because it's not like it forces me to work on it, but it's easier when you're live. You know, you're focused on actually doing this. There are no distractions, right? Like I'm streaming, so there's interaction. So I'm obviously, yeah, you know, obviously it occupies me. Whereas when I'm offline, I would like head downstairs, get something to drink. You know, a ton of distractions, taken away from my development time. So definitely for me, it helps to develop stuff while being live, because I'm just focused on this. So I kind of wanted to get that back up and running again. And like everything you see is temporarily, so I'm gonna work on a completely new and custom streaming UI. Like, you know, gonna make it a little more related to, well, let's say Game Boy development. So like these kind of pixel art theme for the stream, like to integrate it. You'll see when it's finished. I'm probably gonna work on it during stream as well. But you know, there's a lot of stuff going on. Yeah, a lot of work. Game dev and snakes. Yeah, absolutely. They're gonna be integrated. Absolutely. Actually, there's a lot of stuff to think about. You know, when making my own game, like. One-man game development studio. Just, you know, we'll see where it leads and how it goes. But eventually I'm gonna like create my own game development studio. Probably focus on Game Boy games, begin. Hey Pinchy, what is up, buddy? Welcome. And you know, this Doom project and everything else is just on the side. But I promised myself I would actually finish it. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's definitely not well, you know, it's not like it's super hard or impossible. It just takes a lot of time. And I'm having a full-time job, so it's all on the side, you know. But it's a lot. Absolutely. But you know, actually going live, streaming, it definitely helps, and getting some support from you guys definitely helps. Working towards that goal and getting stuff done, actually. So yeah, that was kind of like, that became my priority, to get the stream back online. But we'll work on something very nice, you know, to kind of get that branding, so to speak, where you can definitely see like, okay, this is part of like a bigger thing. But there's a lot of work I have to do offline for the moment to get it all up and running, because it's not the most interesting thing to stream. So it kind of felt like, you know, what the hell is going on here? Oh god. Yeah, it messed it up. Hold on. Thankfully, there's an easy fix. The hell? Okay. Okay, cool. That's awesome. I kind of want to start, like, I mean, actually I want to keep it small scale, because I don't want to spend years and years and years developing just one game. So that's why I chose Game Boy, because for me it's kind of nostalgic, and it's smaller scale, and kind of like, you know, I'm getting into the whole pixel art. Actually, I can, just a minute, I'll show you what I made. Actually, I've been working on pixel art, because I feel like working with a restricted color palette, it helps, right? Let me show you what I got so far. I've just been mainly doing some assets. I'm gonna use Game Boy Studio, because that's actually pretty great. Lots of possibilities. There have been some serious updates, and a lot of actual homebrew developers use Game Boy Studio. Let me show you real quick what I got. All right. I feel like I've been, you know, spending some time with Sprite, and I feel like I've been, you know, I've learned quite some stuff. There we go. I'm in the way. Hold on. Can I actually turn this off? Just a second. There you go, you can see it better now. So these are some assets I made, right? This one is actually like a scroll I'm working on. As you can see, I think it's really fun to work with a restricted color palette. Okay. Yeah, I made one animation. I've animated some water. Scroll can see you, absolutely. So these are some assets, you know, I made. It's been really fun to. It's like the first game is gonna be like this guy right here. You know, probably if you played Game Boy, you remember Castlevania 2, Belmont's Revenge on Game Boy. This is one of the enemies, but I just use it for scale comparison. So I still need to make my own character, but it's for scale mostly. But it's been very, very fun. I really enjoyed. I love the color palette. And actually, I learned this over maybe a little more than a month. So it's been a lot of fun. Right. And you can just put all of this together in Game Boy Studio and create an actual scene, which I will be streaming live, probably some live pixel art as well. I feel like you know, I can actually, because when I was learning pixel art, right, it was, you know, in the beginning it's always hard. Like you have to experiment a lot and, you know, find some tutorials, watch some tutorials, like how you do certain things when you're new to the whole pixel art thing. And that's not the most interesting thing to stream, because you're mostly watching videos, you know, and reading stuff about how it all works, you know, the different techniques you can use, stuff like that. That's not the most interesting thing to stream. So that's why I kind of held off on live streaming that specific work on the game. But you know, once I think I've got enough assets to actually build some testing scenes in Game Boy Studio, and I think that's more interesting to stream. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do in the coming period. But one thing that's always, you know, one thing that I do know is Doom Builder, and I still got lots of stuff to work on. So the camera thing is kind of annoying, but it will be replaced anyway, so with my own custom stuff. So oh yeah, hey Festus, what is up, buddy? It's good to see you again, man. Jesus Christ, it's been a while. Okay. Getting back into it. Yeah, I know. But I haven't stopped working on stuff. Like I said, it's when it's there, when it's ready. It's just been like extremely busy. And I do apologize for the lack of my presence. Oh God, this is so messed up now. I wonder why. Let's remove this actually. We can always add it later. I feel like this level is so broken, man. Yeah, I know. It's I'm trying to figure out, like, with this new setup, I got like a huge screen here. Probably will have to adjust the mic. I'm not really sure. I haven't found a good place. This is just like mostly a testing stream. FNC. Oh, I know. Yeah, I know. the alignment is actually floor and ceiling alignment is pretty great using that technique. I used it a lot. Retrace the sectors. Yeah, it's probably because I kind of changed this. Let's check real quick. That is normal. No huge errors here, as far as I can see. No. So, how you guys been? Your headphone? I know. I noticed. It started to peel indeed. Wow. I didn't know the quality was that good actually of the camera. But it's true, I noticed it. It's kind of weird because this is like, it happened during the night. I'm not really sure. Possible things. Yeah. Actually, I did. You know what kind of cost me a lot of time? I was actually looking into building my own PC, right? I kind of started doing some research because it's been like years since I built my last PC. And a lot of stuff changed. People say it got easier, which probably is. It's easier to kind of go online and find the information, and check for compatibility. But the more I did research, the more I found things I didn't like, especially when it comes to NVIDIA. The way they handle the pricing on the GPUs, it's disgusting, right? Like, I was interested in the 4080 series. But if you compare it to the 4090, right, like the price is, for just a little more you get like a lot more performance. But I do like the power usage of the 4080. Yeah, that's weird. That's weird. True. Like the 4060 Ti, it's been a disaster. Like they released disaster after disaster. But it's like, I feel like it's not. No, absolutely not. The 4060 Ti, it's like, I've read a lot of reviews. It's terrible. It's the 40. Like people say it's a 4050 priced like 4070 or something like that. It's NVIDIA doesn't really care about the GPU, like the gamer market. They're into AI now, and like they got like huge profits from these huge these bigger systems for AI. So they don't really care. Like Intel, they're kind of starting to rise, and I think can provide with the Battle Mage. It can, give some competition to AMD and Intel and NVIDIA. Yeah, I'm still having like a 980. That's ancient hardware. But it runs fine for the things I do with it, It's not like I'm doing like high-end recording, content creation. Though Maya and Photoshop together sometimes give me some problems, There's a delay when I do certain actions, so it's definitely time for an upgrade. But I kind of decided to hold off until they come to their senses. They're still charging prices for crypto mining, while everybody's past that. Yeah, I think Bridge is optimizing it though, because that is actually one of the big problems, is poor optimization when it comes to games and game developers. Like a 16 gig VRAM, that's like the go-to thing nowadays. It's insane. And I feel like, you know, devs should definitely try and spend more time into optimizing their game. I feel like I've been watching some tweets, yeah, and apparently there's you gained a lot of FPS by optimizing the levels significantly. Well, that's not a problem I'll be having with this map. So I think did he replace certain sectors with models maybe? Because that can be huge, especially if you use the same model in different, you know, a lot of times. Yeah. I can imagine it'll be it's stressful. Probably if you're good at something, never do it for free. Or for cheap, for that matter. Well, let's actually test this out. Oh god, here we go again. Okay. Absolutely. Like, the good part about models is that if you have one model and it gets loaded into memory, even if you place it like 50 times, it's still one model. So the game doesn't have to redraw every model. So that's where it definitely can save a huge amount of time. Okay, that's good. Yeah. It's looking good. Still need to add some sound though. I have this weird, you probably don't see this. I have this weird, like blue kind of, you see that? Near the edges? I probably have to do something with my screen. It's kind of weird. I'm not really sure what it is. Never noticed it before. Here as well, with the lights. See that? There's like this blue glaze or something, I don't know. At least the doors are functioning. References, absolutely. I do like the way that the lights behave. And the shadows, very nice. All cheesy Dune. Okay, so that's good. Doors functioning. Is there anything actually I built? What is new? I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know where we left off actually. No, I see. Okay, yeah. Coal, yeah. Yeah, true. Can I make this door as well? I did some changes, or I added some stuff here and there. I'm just not really sure what you guys remember of this level. Fix all the doors so they function properly. But the level, basically, like the layout is complete. I think I connected these areas. So this is actually one thing you see, like an area you see in the hub. I'm gonna try to integrate it, certain parts into the level you actually be visiting. but I kind of changed it slightly. So this is actually the starting area, which I developed. Oh yeah, okay. Okay, so horizontal doors, okay. So you've seen this already. This is the starting area. And the doors should be working. Yeah. Oh, wait. Okay. So working on a bunch of stuff. Like, you know, the level, like, the general flow is actually pretty much completed. Batch rendering. Okay, you lost me there. Yeah, you lost me. Jesus Christ, man. Game development is hard. It definitely helps when you don't have to work on the engine. But, you know, it's important to kind of know the limitations as well. And some workarounds. Actually, I found something very funny about game development. Like a meme with some guys banging with a hammer on like the hood of a race car. Kind of trying to repair it real quick, and somebody make like the equation with game development was pretty spot on actually. Hey, what's up, Esteban? Good to see you again. How have you been? Okay. And I think I've always found it such a shame they didn't include game development in school when I was young. I think it's very interesting. Like, it could be a good direction a lot of people want to venture in. Well, times change. Oh, that's cool. Wow, that's great. Okay, great. I think there's gonna be there's a lot of interest in game development nowadays. Well, a lot more than I was younger. And like a lot of people are kind of like self-educated. I see some amazing stuff from people who never took any game class or game development class. But you know, we live in an age where like you can basically find everything on YouTube. There are a lot of great tutorials out there. People giving it away for free, all the valuable information. And you know, some people just, you know, it takes some practice, obviously. But when you're young and you got a lot of free time on your hands, I think it's a great time to learn some necessary skills, which you can develop further into your life. Yeah. Program tutorials, I can't really comment on that. But you know, some like art tutorials, you find some good stuff online. There's some like for pixel art, for example. There's some great people I found who kind of teach you. Well, they don't just draw; they kind of explain you why they, you know, go with certain options or choices because I think it really helps, like, if you know the reason behind it as to why they draw certain things in a particular way, or like, you know, to apply shading and how everything works. It was great. Like, some, you know, tutoring is a skill in itself, I think. Not everybody is a good tutor. Kinda, you know, I feel like it helps if you can teach it in a fun manner. Not everybody can do that, you know. And it's important to explain why you make certain choices. You know, like color theory, pretty important as well. A little less when you're using like a very limited color palette, like I'm using. But yeah, there's a lot to learn. I mean, it's, you know, games are art. And it's definitely not something you can learn overnight. Yeah, but still there is like, each game has a certain style to make it work, right? Like, I feel like some games may seem like they're just doing something, but in the end there is something behind it, you know, something that makes it work. And well, it may initially look like it's just a bunch of scattered mess, or things that make up one big mess. It usually isn't. There's some really deep thought behind it. Or maybe they can just get lucky, I don't know. I feel like with Doom mapping, like, my main problem has always been consistency. And that's why I kind of divided Annie into 4 different episodes, right? To make it easier on myself. Because it's, if you keep it, like, if you release maps on a smaller scale, like, it's easier to be consistent. Although I must say, like, making 4 maps in one episode is hard to keep consistent as well. Like, there is a difference between each individual map here, but you know, it can be a good thing because I don't want every map to look the same. So I try to spice it up a little bit and give each map like a bit of distinction while using the same texture pack. But it's more, for me, it's more like more luck than skill. I'm not really thinking these through, right? It's just make something up as I go, and yep, I gotta see for now. Until now, it kind of works. No. Like, for me, it's easier to actually do very small scale projects. Like, I feel like I'm struggling with consistency, like even in the same map. So here, like, I try to use like the same set of doors, like only like a couple of variants. As you can see, like something like they don't even have the same size. But you know, I try to keep somewhat consistent, keep a theme going on here, but it's hard. And this one actually, like, it doesn't really fit anymore with what I got going on in the rest of the map, so this is gonna be it's actually a pretty clever name, the Alfonso. Pretty great. So this is gonna be part of the new map, which was initially part of this map. I feel like the difference is too huge. I think what I got going on here is kinda fitting together quite nicely. So I'm just gonna stick with this, and instead of falling down here, into the abyss, which was gonna be this area. I'm just gonna end the level there. That's why I raised the platform. This will lower and you get teleported out. After fighting some demons, obviously. I do feel like I need to, because I accidentally deleted my entire scene in Streamlabs, so the mic settings, they kind of got reset as well. So let me know if there's something like too loud or whatever. I need to make some adjustments again. All right. Okay, good. Because I remember I had something like I had something integrated into Streamlabs where when I was using the mic, the desktop audio was automatically going down. But I see that's no longer the case. So I probably need to need to make some adjustments, but we'll see. If there's not too much interference, I can maybe leave it like that. All right. I do want to check out at some point the Quake 2 map, or the unit by Column 3, I think. It's released. I haven't played it yet. So that is something I definitely want to check out as well. And for tonight, this was just kind of like a stream to get back online, get back into it. So it's pretty short, but at least we made a little bit of progress on the map. The next part is I'm gonna work on adding some details and then sector portals, and then we can populate it. I feel like most of it is done. And then I think one more map and the last bit of the hub map, and then we're finished for episode 2. I'm probably gonna work a little bit more on Heretic in between as well. But I'll be sure to hop online more frequently to get some work done, and get the stream back up was actually the most important part for the coming period, and from here on I will just whatever I do, I feel like I'm ready to actually do it all live. So I feel like everything is like I have this goal in mind. I have everything set up to work towards it, so we can stream it live and just work towards it together. Okay, so that's gonna be it for today. I'm still kind of working towards, well, not really working part-time, but 1 day a week. Because at the moment, like there's like a huge shortage of personnel, so it's basically impossible. But once that will kind of change as well. And one of my goals is to actually, have 1 day off a week from work to actually focus on my personal projects, game development, and my hobby projects, and streaming, of course. So once we reach that, I feel like we can actually start to make some real good progress, instead of doing it like on the side. But we'll see. That's something for the future. I just was kind of expecting to happen way sooner than it actually did, or it doesn't, because it hasn't happened yet, of course. But we'll see. I'm just gonna try to keep making like progress, even in small increments. and finish my huge backlog of games on Steam, which is insane. I only made like a bit of progress on The Witcher 3, and with Diablo 4 coming out, it's gonna be hard times. So yeah, I'm just gonna, 100 plus, yeah. Maybe I don't have that much, not 100 plus. Let's actually have a look. Let's save this. I spent 43 hours on these sprites. So in progress, I kind of divided my Steam library so I can keep an oversight. Blasphemous, I still have to play the expansion pack, Castlevania. There are like a few games in one. Deep Rock, Dread Templar. Working towards it. I think I almost got to complete this one. The full version has been released not too long ago, so I'm working towards finishing this as well. But from now on, I'm gonna stream this, right? As many as I can, like The Witcher 3 and Warhammer. I think it's a little too much to handle for my GPU to simultaneously play and stream this. There's probably something I can do offline. Wrath, I can do that as well. And these are unplayed, or at least maybe I checked them out just a little bit, but never finished them. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 32. Yeah, it's not the most optimized indeed. 32. That's for Steam only. I'm not talking about games in other fronts, and still some physical copies. Like I have Titan Quest, which I would love to finish. So yeah, there's like a huge, and these games are huge, like Borderlands 2. It's huge. It's gonna take a while. The rest, I think it's Van Helsing. It's also RPG. And Grey Goo, that's RTS, which is not my strong point. Like 3.9 hours in, and I haven't made any progress, right? So, but I think it's gonna be fun, like to stream it online as well. I get some tips. I don't mind backseat gaming, absolutely not. But there's still like a ton to do. So I'm probably gonna like play these games after like a level design session. Command & Conquer, I love those games back in the day. Actually, I did. If for those who haven't checked it out, there are a couple of free games in the Discord server. Actually, there we go. Warhammer Gladius, free, and Fallout New Vegas also free. So I posted them in the Discord. And that's just, the list goes on and on. It's ever growing, and I just can't keep up, right? But I'm just gonna try to, do a little bit of R&R. Yeah. And what was the last game I finished? There's uncategorized. I think Black Mesa was the last game I finished. So these are games these are all finished, right? Frostpunk, I think it's Festus gifted it to me. interesting. Like I think it was a city builder, except Quarter K. True. If I get some keys, once it's released, obviously I'll hand it out in the Discord. Not really sure how many they're gonna give, but whatever I can get my hands on, I'll make sure you guys get some keys. Actually, there are some giveaways, like from 3D Realms. Sometimes they give keys away from released games to like internal. But I can do some giveaways, Quarter K, yeah. No. Early access, that's the benefit, huh? It hasn't been updated actually on Steam. Like, I can't show it obviously, but there have been huge updates. But this Steam version hasn't been updated yet. So. All right. Was there an interview for Quarter K? I haven't really kept up actually. My work in Quarter K is completed. So I haven't really been keeping up. I've been focusing on my own projects as of late. Yeah, it's crisp. It's true. Because like the team is actually working on like pixel level when it comes to texturing and modeling. It's fun. It has a very unique style. Absolutely.
Surprise, motherfucker.
And like I've been following the progress closely, obviously, and it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Like there are very interesting mechanics, very cool weapons. I mean, it's great. I really enjoyed working on it, and even though I felt the pain when huge chunks of levels were being scraped. That's why I hate working for companies. There's too much wasted effort. It's insane. I can't stand it. But that's game development, I guess. But I feel like if I get like a chunk of a level which I work really hard on and spend a lot of hours on, I will try to, chances I would just scrape it entirely are very slim. I would just try to make it work somehow, because I can't, if I spent 30 hours working on a map, I'm gonna release it, even if I have to make some adjustments, because I can't stand it, all the wasted hours. And if you see, with games, how many versions there were, right? Sometimes people actually prefer an old version of a game, and those are old weapon models, some textures, some monster designs, and a lot of it gets scraped out of a final game, and it's such a shame. I kind of I can understand. Yeah, true. If you look at Half-Life, the very early footage, and the final version of Half-Life. I mean, I can't understand why they do certain things, like why they improve. But if you, man, the wasted hours, life's too short. I mean, if they get paid, it somewhat compensates, but still, I get paid for Core Decay. I'm watching a chunk of my level just getting replaced with something because there was a new vision, like they kind of changed the story in some parts, and like that specific part of the level didn't, complement the story anymore. So it got scraped, and while I still got paid, for the level, I felt like, man, I've been spending like weeks on that, and it's painful. I wish I could just, like, if they would give me the chunk and just, okay, we're gonna release like, I don't know, like a complimentary episode or something like that, or like a couple of single levels, like a how do you call that? These packs they release after the game, which levels got scraped, like the lost levels or something like that. Like a small DLC pack, even if they give it out for free, it doesn't really matter. But that just like the work doesn't get lost. But that's why I decided to work on my own game and do it small scale. So the things I can improve are on the fly. I don't need to overhaul like an entire graphics set or whatever. Yeah, it's when it's for a company, it's hard. It's hard because you're not alone. When I was just starting with the whole mapping thing, I was never satisfied with my maps halfway through, and I just ended up deleting them and starting something new. And eventually, I really had to learn to go with something and stick with it, right, and make it work, because otherwise I would never have able to release a map, because I was never satisfied. And then I just, at some point I just had to make that click and think that, okay, this is what you got, you're gonna finish it, you're gonna see it through, and you're gonna make it work as best as you can. And once that first map, I got the first map out, from then on, I just stuck with that, and it really helps, because I haven't released like a huge amount of projects, but I did release like projects for different games, and I'm kind of happy with the way it turned out. At least I got something out. I mean, sure, they're not perfect, or it's not like in how do you call it, opus magnum or whatever. But I'm still happy with the stuff I made. And for me, like, yeah, small crappy map. I mean, if you keep it small scale, like maybe like a map you can finish in 10 minutes, right? But you kind of take that map and you put your complete focus into it, and you keep it consistent, and you think about, offline when you're not working on the map, you think about some clever puzzles or some interesting lore or whatever, some interesting monster placement, or some interesting loop, like around the level, like interconnection. If you just focus on the small scale, there are a lot of techniques you can learn and use. And if you then decide to actually make a larger map, these things you learned while making small scale maps, they still apply, and you can actually use them on larger scale maps. But that is something I want to do personally after this Annie project is done. Just releasing single, small, very small maps with clever design, and just like maybe 10-15 minute playtime. Prefabs, absolutely. Prefabs, definitely. That is something I thought about as well. Making prefabs. The only thing is you gotta make sure not to copy paste too much, because otherwise the map will become boring and repetitive. There's actually a very interesting article I read about having a asymmetric, like if you have a symmetrical area, like a church, for example, you don't put your objective on the altar, so to speak, in the middle of the map, like in the end middle. But you make sure, like while the map is symmetrical, the flow is not. And that was actually really interesting. So you can make the player like cross from a different angle, or enter from a different angle than just the front door and just run to the back. To keep consistent architecture, yeah, this prefab very, very helpful, absolutely. Like for doors, for example, that helps. You know, make the same height for doors, and you just build the level around it. So that definitely helps to make small scale maps to accomplish that. Because I know that's my weak point, consistency, that's my weak point. But at least I'm aware of it. Right? So I can only try to improve as much as I can. Alright, fellas, I'm gonna end the stream here. Thank you so much for joining on my return. It's not a grand return, but it's a return nonetheless. And I'll be seeing you next time. I'm gonna work on a bunch of stuff, but I'm gonna stream as much as I can. The Steam rooms. Well, you know, feedback definitely helps. As long as it's useful, obviously. Not just... Oh, I got a sub, really? Oh yeah, YouTube sub. Okay, thank you. Welcome. I kind of forgot I was doing restream, so I kind of was in the whole Twitch thing, but I'm not really an affiliate anymore. You know, true. I mean, diversity in maps is not a bad thing. It just has to make sense. And some games do it really good. Like, for example, one thing that would really work for Half-Life, for example. And actually, Opposing Force did it really well, like this combination of Zen and Black Mesa, the complex. Like where you can slowly see that the worlds are merging. It's kind of basically like the story somewhat. The worlds are merging together, and you know, if you have like two different styles, it would make sense in that world, but not just, you know, diversity for the sake of it. Kind of like what I try to is combining like hell with UAC tech, something like that, and I think it works. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for joining, fellas. It has been a fun return, although a short one, but you know, I'll be back soon with some proper mapping and modeling and pixel art. Okay, so good night and see you guys soon. Take care.